All right, Lewis.
Yes.
Where are you? Are you right there? Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to the Unhinged Gremlin podcast.
Hell yeah, brother!
Give me 1 second just to pull up this.
You weren't ready, you fucking liar.
No, I had something, but now I can't find the link. So now I have
you're
to pull it
telling
up.
me that on recording it has us saying, "Are you ready?" Yeah, I'm not ready.
Oh, we're keeping that in.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Welcome to your last episode.
Welcome. Why did I start with that? That's not what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
Hello,
I was like,
cinephiles.
what the fuck is happening?
Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiots, soon to be two idiots, talk about movies. And today is our season
I
finale.
have to change the intro.
Why'd you interrupt me?
Interrupting the man's last intro. What is wrong with you?
Sorry. Go ahead.
I have to start over from the top.
So sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let's go again.
Mhm.
Hello, cinephiles, and
Wait, are
welcome
you
to
starting
Silver
right
Screen
now?
Sips.
Oh my god.
Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiots talk about movies. And today is our season finale for the Lord of the Rings franchise. We are going to be reviewing Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Just a reminder that there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows that you may not have seen yet, so just know that you've been warned. Also, stay till the end. I should say stay tuned till the end for some important updates on the show.
Are we allowed to talk now?
No.
Okay.
Never.
Yes. Welcome everyone to Lewis's final episode. It is a somber, bittersweet, happy, all the emotions moment. How are you feeling right now, Lewis? He's like fucking excited to be out of here.
I mean, honestly, at this particular moment, I'm quite hungry. But since you're asking how I'm feeling,
That's cool.
Beth, I have to share all of the things at once. You know, I
Okay,
have to
so tell me
explain them.
tell me everything you're feeling at the moment.
Right now, I am hungry. I wish my AC was on because it would be nice and cold. I am feeling very bittersweet about this being my final episode for the foreseeable future. I am impatient to start my program on Monday. And I am somewhat excited to discuss some of the news we'll be discussing today.
Speaking of these amazing headlines, why don't we jump into it?
Hold up.
No.
I have something to say.
Come on, that was a great segue for once.
That really was a great segue.
Another time, baby.
What? What do you have to say?
I would just like to read out some of the weirdest unhinged comments I've had on my post about my theater closure. Right?
Okay.
So, yeah, I posted about my theater closure.
Mm-hmm.
It is funny though, because in 2000 we opened up with Dude, Where's My Car? That was the first movie we showed there. That and Emperor's New Groove, but I decided to choose Dude's Where's My Car because that's funnier choice. On top of that, we ended on Evil Dead Rise. All right. And some of the most weirdest stuff. Let me just write it here. I wrote it down. Some guy said, LOL. This is what you get for not hiring me, which I have no clue who he is. Application.
I was not expecting that.
Someone said, whoever closed this is a hoe. I was like, okay.
Yes.
Someone said, me and Ron are going to have a little chat, which I believe he's talking about Ron DeSantis, which I don't know if you'll care. Yeah. And then someone said there was a lot of fights back in the day, like in 2000. So they were like, it's because y'all were always fighting. And someone said, y'all go out there and fight and then do some bullshit. And now it's gone. Now that you're sad. And then someone said, and this is what got me. This is like the top comment. So many cheeks were clapped and fights happened. Ripped to the early 2000s super gremlin breeding grounds.
Beautiful.
Oh, and then a friend of mine commented who used to work there about the time that these two high dudes broke into the back of concessions. They stole a pack of uncooked hot dogs from the freezer, no buns, and then when they got caught, their backpack was dripping wet because it defrosted in the theater.
That sounds like an article you would read about, like Florida man steals hot dogs from a concession stand. You spoke about Evil Dead Rise. Did either of you guys see that?
No.
Nope.
It's definitely not a movie for you, Isaiah. It's perhaps worse than Saw.
Oh, that's definitely.
For anyone who has not seen it yet or has seen it even, just want to throw that out here. I went this past weekend, bought the ticket at the concession stand or whatever ticket booth. And the guy at the register literally goes, I just want to warn you guys, this is not for those who have sensitive stomachs. I was like, okay, well, I think we'll be okay. And then the girl I was with, she was like, well, I have a dairy allergy. Is that going to be an issue? And then the guy lost it. But that's besides the point.
That's my new favorite person now.
Yeah. So I was like, no, I think we'll be okay. I saw all the Saw movies or whatever. He's like, I know. I just have to warn people because the last showing had 5 people throw up.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, good to know. And am I going in that same theater? Because I don't want to go in there. 5 people just puked.
I'm going to assume it was the needle theme, probably.
No, because nothing, spoilers. Anyway, it's not really a big spoiler, but like the needle never actually goes in the eye.
No, I know.
There's one scene that does happen in the movie that got me a little queasy, but not like I wanted to puke, but more of just like I had to look away because I was like, I cannot just watch this. But I wouldn't say, if anything, maybe the only explanation I can think of is one person puked, which caused a chain reaction.
Oh,
you know, that's what I'm thinking. But anyways, enough chit chat about that. Let's dive into our first segment.
Well, since we broke very far away from Beth's wonderful transition earlier.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're gonna hop right back over to the best segment on this podcast. This week in Hollywood.
You know what's gonna suck is when we have to do that, and we're gonna butcher it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be rough.
I mean, you just want to like record a short sound bite of me saying "this week in Hollywood" and you just splice it in every time.
Well, let me hear, Isaiah. Let me hear yours.
I can't do it.
Just try.
I refuse.
Please, for me.
Oh, I can't get the same oomph as our main man.
Here, Lewis, you go first. Give it a little taste.
This week in Hollywood. That's all I got. Sorry.
All right, that wasn't bad. That
wasn't terrible.
This week in Hollywood. What's that?
You started off. You started off with some oomph, and then you just deadpan.
You flatlined.
Damn it! I'll practice. We'll both practice.
We're not gonna practice.
We're not gonna practice. All right. Anyways, let's start with the first one.
Isaiah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is me. This year's CinemaCon has come and gone, and here are some of the key takeaways from this year's event. Rihanna is set to voice a Smurfette in the upcoming Smurf movie. Don't know why. Scorsese showed the trailer for his latest film, Killers of the Flower Moon. Don't know why. I'm just kidding. Hugh Grant is going to be an Oompa Loompa in the new Willy Wonka movie. Don't know why. Beetlejuice 2 is on the way. I don't know why. What? What are these?
Listen, man.
I'm listening.
Don't ask. It's all they got right now. Okay, they don't really have much going for them at the moment.
I guess not.
Except the new Gran Turismo trailer came out today and looked pretty good. And I never even played the games, but I want to watch the movie.
Oh, the Gran Turismo movie. I thought when you said that, I thought you meant the video game.
No, the movie, because we had talked about it in a previous episode, a while back actually. Back when it was still, I think when they had just gotten like it just got announced or something, and now they have a trailer for it. Okay, so much like CinemaCon, this headline has come and gone. Woo, I'm killing it with these freaking segues. Okay, next.
I have something to say.
I was like, you fucker. Director Adam McKay, known for his films such as Don't Look Up, Talladega Nights, Anchorman, Vice, and much more, has landed his next film, which will debut on Netflix. The movie is titled Average Height, Average Build, and stars Robert Pattinson, Amy Adams, as well as Robert Downey Jr., Forrest Whitaker, and Danielle Deadwyler. Yes.
I don't know who that person is.
Yeah, I think so.
Deadwyler, I'm going to go with it. The film is being described as part serial killer thriller and part comedy.
I'm sorry, wait, what? You want to repeat that last word?
Serial killer thriller and then the other half is comedy.
I didn't realize serial killer thriller was a specific genre.
I don't know if it's like specifically serial killer thriller or if it's serial killer, thriller kind of a thing. You know, like they're separate.
But the same.
I don't know, man. I just know that after Don't Look Up, I don't know if I want to watch it. But the other movies he's worked on have been pretty funny. Talladega Nights and Anchorman are classics. So I guess we'll see.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie continues to make headlines. It has now reached over $1 billion in the global box office. It will be only the 10th animated film ever to reach this milestone.
Wow.
Globally, it now ranks as Universal's 7th biggest film of all time, after beating Jurassic World Dominion, not a lot of competition there, and Despicable Me.
No!
And it is now the 4th biggest among any Hollywood movie since 2019.
That's pretty impressive.
Matthew Lawrence, who has starred in Mrs. Doubtfire, Boy Meets World, and many more, claimed he was commanded to strip for a director during an audition in order to land him a role in a Marvel movie, to which the actor, of course, refused. Lawrence stated his appearance on a podcast that the incident happened in a hotel room with an Oscar-winning director. When he refused and left the hotel room, Lawrence said he lost the agency he was signed to. Lawrence did not disclose when the incident took place or who the director was.
Now this was a while ago, so I can only imagine who it would be.
Weinstein. Just kidding. It's not Weinstein.
Now, in breaking news that literally just happened today, at least at the time of recording, which is May the 2nd. So by the time you hear this, it's probably going to be old news, but that's okay. The Writers Guild of America has voted to go on strike as of today. 11,500 members of the WGA will officially be on strike until the WGA and Hollywood studios can come to an agreement on a new 3-year film and TV contract, which just expired this past Monday, meaning yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have clarified that.
No, you're good. I just was confused if it was like last week. A long strike could have a ripple effect on not only film and television production, but also the Southern California economy. And the impact is also likely to be felt in Georgia, New York, New Mexico, and other production hubs nationwide. Without writers, scripted television shows will struggle to continue filming, and live late night shows will stop immediately. I saw a post saying that like Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, and all of them are not going to be airing for a while. Now, it's going to be a while before we see the effects because they have all, kind of like a backlog of recordings. They don't just film it and then air it the next day anymore. So it might be a couple weeks before we're like, hey, where's Jimmy Kimmel?
The last time it happened was back in
2007.
Yeah. And
just
a
over
lot of
15
great
years ago.
TV shows really fell apart after that. Like House.
Yes, that's why there was a lot of reality TV shows that like broke out afterwards, because it was like, oh, we don't really need writers because the show practically writes itself.
The rise of the showrunner.
So brace yourselves, everyone. Reality TV's coming back. We're getting MTV, baby.
We're keeping up with the Kardashians Part 2.
Oh boy.
Exactly, yeah. But anyway, to wrap up our headlines here, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Barbie movie. Yeah.
Wow. Barbie movie.
Barbie movie. Wow.
Oh, man.
Okay. The upcoming Marvel movie, Blade, is getting a gritty rewrite after true creative
Oh, my God. What is wrong with you today?
I'm reading too quickly. Blade is getting a gritty rewrite after True Detective creator Nick Pizzolatto is joining the crew as a writer. The vampire action saga will feature Mahershala Ali in the titular role alongside Mia Goth and Delroy Lindo. The addition of Pizzolatto to the Blade crew is an exciting development for Marvel fans. With Pizzolatto's impressive track record and a talented cast and crew, the upcoming Blade film promises to be a thrilling addition to the MCU.
It better be rated R.
That concludes This Week in Hollywood. You can find all of our sources cited on our Discord channel. Lewis, what do you have for us today for Big Lou's Big Brews?
So for my last announcement of Big Lou's Big Brews for the foreseeable future. Don't worry, they'll still
You
be
love saying
announcing
that. Foreseeable future.
foreseeable future. Don't worry, I was going to speak to our fans and let them know that, of course, we will still be continuing Big Lou's
Fans.
Big Brews.
Whoa. I don't think anyone's a fan of us.
We have
Listeners.
fanatics? Oh my god.
Listeners. My God, you have to be so picky about my words now.
I think they just tolerate us.
All right.
I
Anyway,
love you to death.
point being, we're gonna jump back to our Fellowship of the Drink blog.
Yeah. Love it.
We're gonna have 2 drinks from there, right? We are going to have the End of All Things, which is a representation of Frodo. And we're going to have Stars and Glory, which is a representation of Sam.
Stars and Glory. Interesting. I wonder why they named it that.
We'll find out shortly.
Okay.
Here's a picture of the End of All Things. Here's a picture of Stars and Glory.
They look the fucking same. They're just a different garnish.
The color's slightly different.
A little bit. I'm sure the ingredients are completely different, but if you were to show me these 2 drinks without telling me they were different drinks, I would assume one was just watered down.
All right. The End of All Things is a very interesting drink. I'm going to skip over the description here that they provide on the blog post. We'll have a link for you guys to check that out later, but we're going to go down to the ingredients and how we make this drink. Also, as a quick description, this smoky drink reminds people of home and hearth, the tender smells and tastes of home.
Okay.
So, to make your drink, you're going to have 2 ounces of Bowmore Scotch,
Ooh.
2 ounces of a concoction known as Hobbit Syrup.
What is that?
We'll explain that in just a moment because they have a separate list that explains the ingredients. A touch of Cynar and a sage garnish.
Okay.
What is Cynar?
Cynar is something we mentioned, I think, on a previous episode. Let me pull it back up.
I was going to say, it sounds familiar.
I think it's like that apricot liqueur. Artichoke liqueur, yeah.
Right, because we were like, what the fuck does that mean? Okay.
So, for the creation of your Hobbit syrup is going to involve 1 cup of strong brewed stash double bergamot Earl Grey black tea.
Wow. That's a tongue full. That's a mouthful, not a tongue full.
Wow. Oh.
I mixed tongue twister and mouthful.
A 1/4 cup of honey. 6 whole cloves. I'm going to assume that means garlic because it just says whole cloves.
Garlic. Okay.
1/3 of an orange. 1/3 of a lemon. 1/8 of a cup of whole dried sage. And 1/8 teaspoon of cinnamon. For your Hobbit syrup, you're going to put all of those ingredients I just listed into a heavy pan. Give the lemon and orange a good twist over the pan before putting them in to release the oils in the skin. Simmer for about 15 minutes until honey is incorporated and spices have released their flavor. Strain into an airtight container and put it in the refrigerator to cool. To make your drink, you are going to fill your shaker about 1/3 of the way with ice. Add all your ingredients. Stir about 50 times. And yes, I mean 50 times.
Okay.
That's very specific.
Yeah.
Fill the highball with glass.
I'm sorry.
I can't fucking speak. Fill your highball glass with ice.
My favorite was it took us all a second to be like, what?
No, I immediately put my fingers like on my fucking forehead when I said that. So drain your cocktail shaker contents into your glass and garnish by laying the sage sprig on top of the drink. A quick note at the end here is that do not shy away from the sage. It is a lovely, savory addition to the drink. And they suggest that you get organic whole sage and you will taste the difference. Do not use ground sage as it will change the proportions.
Okay.
And finally, to end our drink, we have a quote from our film, The Return of the King. I am glad you are here with me, here at the end of all things, Sam.
Don't make me cry right now.
I'm going to make you cry right now.
Oh.
So, what do you guys think of the end of all things?
Seems like the syrup's got more ingredients than the drink.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I would just enjoy drinking the syrup. Like it sounds good.
Yeah.
The cinnamon with the honey. And then what was the other thing that was a little spicier?
Spicier cinnamon, dried
No.
sage,
Honey, lemon,
orange.
orange, garlic clove.
Oh, garlic clove. That's not spicy, but
Well, you're white, so maybe it is.
no. It was more so it was just very contradicting in my head. It was more of what I was thinking. So I went to spicy for some reason. But just sounds like an interesting culmination of ingredients. So I'm kind of curious how just the syrup alone would taste, because like the scotch and the Cynar and all of that, it's like, yeah, it's kind of just a standard drink, but the syrup I feel like is what seals the deal. So I think I would enjoy that. It sounds, yeah, it kind of does sound like earthy and like homey. So like a 4 out of 5. Lewis, Isaiah,
I would give it a 4.5 out of 5.
and why?
It is definitely a unique concoction. I like what do I want to say here? I like the creativity. They always got very creative with all of these drinks, like they really put a lot of thought into each ingredient and everything like that. But I like the way they tried to create a specific, really match the vibe, right?
That feeling, yeah.
The feeling. Also, if you look closely in the photo, I believe you can actually see something that looks like a garlic clove, but maybe that's just me, because it's only supposed to be in the honey, not in the drink. But
I think that's just you.
That is just me. Anyway, but yeah, no, 4.5 out of 5. Definitely appreciate the creativity, and I definitely hope that it gives you like that earthy home feeling.
Yeah, I feel like I could just see myself drinking this like in front of a fireplace when it's raining outside, Yeah,
absolutely.
I say it definitely doesn't deserve 5 out of 5 simply because the syrup sounds like a bitch to make.
Sure, that's fair. Isaiah?
I will give it a 4 out of 5. Sounds good. I like the syrup. I want to do the syrup. But yeah, it does seem like it's just a regular drink, and then someone put a bunch of stuff to make a syrup together. So I can't say.
The syrup definitely seals it. Now, what about Sam?
We're going to go on to, of course, the boy who carried the entire film trilogy, Samwise Gamgee. So, Mr. Samwise Gamgee is rewarded with a drink known as Stars and Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Very fitting for our hero here. If a quick line from the excerpt is that Sam is my hero. This hobbit is so true, loyal, and steady. And just like all hobbits, he is of the earth, solid and strong.
Aww.
Little Sam.
I will also be including the link to this one so that you guys can read the full excerpt, so that you get a better understanding of the drink itself and the thought of what they wanted to do when they made this drink. Our Stars and Glory is an earthy drink that is upbeat, hopeful, and doesn't waver, just like Samwise Gamgee. Our ingredients are going to include 2 ounces of a Rittenhouse Rye, half an ounce to a total of 1 ounce of real maple syrup. Use a very high quality syrup as a recommendation here. 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice, rosemary for smoking the inside of the glass, and a garnish of a rosemary sprig.
Question.
Yes.
You said rosemary for smoking the inside of the glass.
That is correct.
Can you explain what the fuck that means to me?
So that's actually the first step of the instructions here for creating your drink. You're going to take a sprig of rosemary, using a kitchen torch, light it on fire, blow the fire out, and place quickly in a whiskey glass and cover it with a small plate. You want your rosemary sprig to smoke the inside of your glass.
Before you put any of the ingredients in. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
See, I've smoked whiskeys before. I just haven't heard of lighting the sprig on fire and then doing it. So that's an interesting technique I've never thought of.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably going with the idea that you don't have like some kind of tool for smoking for smoking specifically. You know what I mean? So you're going to combine your burnt rosemary sprig with the rest of the ingredients in a cocktail shaker and add ice. Shake about 20 times vigorously and fill your smoked glass with ice with a fresh rosemary sprig, and strain your cocktail shaker contents into your glass and then enjoy.
Right. How can I forget the 20 and 50?
Right.
That's crazy. And it'd be buff.
Notes for making your drink. Smoking the inside of the glass is really important. It brings to mind when Sam went searching for herbs.
What?
Oh my God.
Jesus. Lewis.
Sam went searching. I feel like I'm having a stroke, honestly. When Sam went searching for herbs to cook the rabbit in Ithilien.
Oh, herbs. Oh, herbs. Okay. Why didn't you just say
I like
so?
that you sort of have to cook this recipe. If you don't own a kitchen torch, seriously, you need to get one. They're great fun and make all of this easier.
Oh yeah, I have a little blowtorchy thing with a smoker for whiskey. It's very fun and it really changes. You can take a really shitty quality whiskey and make it so much better just with a smoker. And you can get different flavored wood chips too. So like there's like apple and pecan and cinnamon and all that kind of stuff. It's good. Cherry.
The final note here before we go on to the quote from the Two Towers, only use real maple syrup and adjust between the half ounce to an ounce based on what you want it to taste like. So the quote we sign off with is, "Master, master," cried Sam. He was close behind, his own sword drawn and ready. "Stars and glory! But the elves would make a song of that if they ever heard of it. And may I live to tell them and hear them sing."
Is it from the book or the movie?
From the Book of the Two Towers.
Okay, I was gonna say I never
the book of the
heard
movie.
that. The book of the movie.
But yeah, that sums up my drinks today. What do we think of Stars and Glory?
Isaiah?
I don't think I've ever had a rye.
I don't think I have either.
It's
I don't
another.
think
It's just another
It's a
flavor
whiskey.
of whiskey, really.
But I've never smoked a glass before. So
You got to come up here. We'll smoke you. Smoke you real good.
maybe. I will give it a 3.5 out of 5 at the current time.
At the current time.
At the current time.
At this point in time.
TBD.
TBT. Yeah.
TBD.
If I get a Rittenhouse Rye and some maple syrup and we, smoke a glass with rosemary, I will let you know.
Fair. All right. What about you, Lewis, since this is your drink?
Also 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. What's your reasoning?
What?
It doesn't get the full 5 because of the necessity to smoke a rosemary sprig, but at the same time, I like that detail, so it's like a very contradicting reason.
So lazy.
Yes, I'm just feeling lazy.
I think I would probably rate, if I rated the last one a 4, I think I'd have to rate this one a 3.5.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not even because it's bad. It's just not as good sounding as the other one. So maybe I'll bump up the other one to a 4.5 and this one to a 4. Either way, this one doesn't sound as appealing as the first one. It just I feel like the ingredients and the way they're incorporated with like the smoking of the rosemary and stuff. It's a clever and like well thought out way. But I mean, the Fellowship of the Drink seems to do that with all their drinks. Just doesn't sound as good. But I also have not had a rye, I don't think. So I think that's mainly why I'm rating it lower, is because I don't know if I would like it or not.
You're just a Samwise Gamgee hater.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis, for your lovely drinks. Next
You're very
week
welcome.
will be one of us, which is wild. Actually, no, next week is our listeners episode. So we're good. Thank God. We get a little bit of a breather there before we have to do any of Lewis's stuff. So that's good. Speaking of Lewis, would you like to take a minute to read our ad for the day?
Yes, I'm going to thank our wonderful sponsor of today's episode, Shaker and Spoon. It's a monthly subscription service that gives you bar quality recipes and ingredients designed by award-winning mixologists. Their latest box, New Frontiers 2, American Single Malt, features amazing cocktail recipes for whiskey lovers, aka me and Beth.
Yes.
If you like your very own subscription, then head on over to shakerandspoon.com and use our promo code SIPS10, that's SIPS 10, to get $10 off your first subscription. Again, that's promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off.
Hell yeah.
I might actually buy this one.
Yeah. I was looking on their website and they look pretty fucking good. And like we've mentioned before, all you need is one bottle and they give you like 6 different cocktails that you can make with this one bottle of liquor. So it's like, and they give you all the other ingredients. Literally all you need to do is buy the liquor. So you just need to buy the single malt American whiskey, and everything else is included. So pretty nice. Now, on to my question of the day. So this is a big one. So just get comfortable. You guys good?
No, I'm very uncomfortable right now.
Ugh, damn. I'm going to start with a little bit of a description first, and then I'm going to go into the question. It's a 4-parter question, so get ready.
Damn.
So in a letter, Tolkien wrote that Frodo was originally going to die at the top of Mount Doom after the ring had been destroyed, but ultimately, obviously, Tolkien changed this for Return of the King. So since Frodo obviously didn't die, he had to live on with his horrible memories of the ring and all the rest of his trauma from the journey. So my question to you both is this. I'm just going to say all of them. So just remember them.
Okay.
Because they all kind of tie together. Do you guys think that the ending of Return of the King would change much if Frodo had died at Mount Doom? And how do you think it would have altered the rest of the movie if it did? And then would it have been a worse ending, like a better ending, or a worse ending if they had done that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat all that?
Okay, I'm just going to copy and paste it.
So much.
Do you think that the ending of the movie would have changed much if Tolkien had decided to kill Frodo at Mount Doom? So he would have died at Mount Doom after destroying the ring. Do you think that if Frodo had died, it would have changed the rest of the movie after that? And would it have been a better or worse ending?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Something I wanted to throw in here. I mean, I don't know if you mentioned this as to why Tolkien changed it, but I think it's actually a nice reference to his own life, because if readers of the books and fans of the movies didn't know, Tolkien, I believe, served in the army during World War II. So the idea that Frodo lives on and has to live with these memories is a reference back to what was then known as shell shock and is now known as PTSD. So I think that's a very poetic way to put it. Like, it's a nice reference to real life, from real life to his own piece of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I prefer that sort of emotional attachment there for the ending. But I do see how you could have also had it end with Frodo dying at Mount Doom, and the impact that may have had across the host of characters and the greater Middle Earth. So I think I still favor the ending it has now, but I could see that being still being a good option.
I think that's a fair point. I think I kind of am on board with you there. Like, I feel like I would have been okay with either ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both would have had a different effect on, or impact on, the viewer. Whereas if Frodo had died at Mount Doom, I feel like the impact he would have had on the characters would have been more of like oh, we're back at the Shire, everything's okay again, but there's just this
void.
Yeah. Which we kind of get, but we don't really see much, because like the only glimpse we get of that after Frodo goes off to Rivendell with the elves and stuff, the only glimpse we really get of that is when Sam returns after that trip and he like sees his family. But I think if Frodo had died off sooner, we would have had that whole, 30 minutes or so of resolution that would have just been like the effect that his death had on the other characters. But that's a whole different type of ending. I don't know if it would have been better or worse. Honestly, I kind of think both would be fine, just would have different impacts emotionally.
I agree, because I don't think, because the way I kind of took it when he goes on to the elf ship is kind of like, oh, he's going to the afterlife. So it's kind of like, instead of watching him die a violent death, he died like in his sleep kind of thing, of like a soft, and just went into the sunset kind of thing. So I don't think much would have changed.
Yeah. I think I could see how they would play out his death too at Mount Doom. Like I could see the sun. Oh, I can picture it. Ready? Everyone close your eyes and picture this.
No,
So
unless
the
you're
scene
driving,
plays
do not-
out the
unless you're
same.
driving, don't do it.
Do not, yeah. If you're driving, don't do that. Everything plays out the same. They're on that rock, right? Surrounded by lava. Sam and Frodo have that emotional bonded exchange. And then the eagles start coming in and Sam's like, Frodo, the eagles are coming. And he looks over and Frodo's dead. Boom.
Wasn't that what happened with Thorin in the end of the original Hobbit?
Are you
Is
saying
it?
they copied Lord of the Rings?
It's before, so he's unconscious and they're worried he's dead. And he's like, come on, the eagles are coming. You have to, you have to stay with us or whatever. Like, wake up, we're here, kind of thing. I could still see like that would have. I mean, Lord of the Rings
the
came
Lord
out
of the Rings
first
came
anyway.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, so
You
it'd still
didn't-
end up. I could still end up seeing it plays out that way. I just now what came to mind because it's so fresh in my memory was
Right.
Thorin.
Right.
I have a feeling that maybe some of the ideas they wanted to do for Lord of the Rings they threw in The Hobbit, mostly because the barrel scene in The Hobbit was supposed to be in Lord of the Rings.
What?
When they're in the river in like and so they're in the river in Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
That scene with the rapids, or when they're in the river in the boats, there originally was supposed to be an attack in on that river, and then it would have turned into the scene from The Hobbit with the barrels.
So glad that didn't happen. That's got to be one of my least favorite scenes in the whole series.
GoPro footage.
GoPro footage.
Anyway, yeah. So don't think the ending would have changed much. I do think it's the same.
All right.
Yeah, violent death versus soft death.
Well, I guess it kind of depends about how they would have gone about it for if he did die on Mount Doom. Like, would it have been kind of like what we were just saying with like the eagles, or would it have been like, I don't know, Smeagol bit his neck or something and he was like bleeding out? Because like that to me is more violent. But like if he's laying there and he's like, I can think of the Shire and stuff, I can see the Shire, and then that's how he passes. To me, that's also
The same.
more peaceful way than bleeding out to death kind of a thing.
I was thinking more of like tackling Schmeagol into the volcano.
Oh, I mean that's another way that could have happened.
Yeah, but then you would end up with like the scene from the ending of Alien 3 with Ripley doing like the God cross.
Spoilers.
Yeah, because Alien 3 is definitely the one that needs a spoiler warning.
Well, yeah, that's my question of the day, or questions of the day. I appreciate your input on that because I mean I think we all kind of relatively agreed on it. It's kind of just a pondering question, like what if,
Thank you. I mean, well, Beth, thank you for this unique question. I mean, I actually liked that you made me think about Tolkien's original reason for writing the ending that he did. So I appreciate that.
This reminds me of a video I saw online, and I don't know if it's true. So I don't know if it's like a recording or like an AI recording, which, to be honest, it would be. Let's be honest. But there is a 30-second video of a voice recording of Tolkien talking about why didn't Frodo and Sam or anybody just fly the eagles to Mount Doom after that whole.
Oh yeah, that's been disproven why the eagles couldn't.
Oh, because the video, it just goes, well, people keep on asking me that, and I got a nice letter, and he goes, and the reason I'll give you to you now is shut up, and then video just ends.
That I don't know about.
But like, if that was a true recording, that's funny. If it was an AI recording, still funny, but damn, that was.
Yeah. Now, Isaiah.
Yes.
What do you have for our final installment?
Final installment. The final installment is gonna include some things, and I'm hoping that you don't know some of these, just for the fact that I can name it the episode title. Okay.
Oh, is this the one that you said we were having? We were gonna have a name? Okay.
Yes,
oh boy.
and I really, really, really hope you guys don't know this fact, because if you do, then it's gonna kill the vibe. So maybe
I don't really know. I don't think I know any about this one.
Okay.
I only knew stuff about the second and the first.
Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Oh boy, I'm scared.
Due to the size of the films.
Wait. Are we starting off with the big one, or are we doing that last?
No.
Okay, I just want to know when I need to act surprised. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Maybe I'll throw it in the middle and then we'll see.
Oh, oh God. I don't like this. I'm nervous.
You
Okay.
need to keep on your toes, you know. Anyway,
Mhm.
due to the size of the films, they had about 7-second units filming with 2 cameras at any given time to get all the footage needed.
Jeez.
I want you to think about that. Okay, so most movies they have a second unit, which is kind of gathering random stuff. While they're doing main scene things, they might grab a shot of like someone picking something up. It doesn't require the actor. So,
B-roll.
yeah,
Mhm.
B-roll basically. That's going to be in the movie, right? Imagine 7 of those with 2 cameras.
That's crazy.
Wild. Next, in March of 2005, Peter Jackson sued New Line Cinema, claiming loss of revenue for merchandising for the first movie. The following month, New Line was fined $125,000 for failing to provide the requested accounting documents, and no settlement was reached.
Man.
Gotta love the lawsuits. I always look for the lawsuits. Every movie we do, I always look for a lawsuit because
Oh yeah, some of them are very wild.
None will ever top the Matrix one though, with the Nazi Jesus thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, this is something I will talk about later when I talk about this movie. The death of Saruman, okay, is cut from the film, with Peter Jackson giving the reasoning as it didn't fit into the flow of the narrative and the length of the film was already too long. And I think there's a quote of him saying something like, "We were testing the limits of how long someone could sit in a movie theater chair."
Yeah, he really pushed my my limits.
Yes. So this damaged the relationship between Lee and Jackson to the point where Lee didn't even show up to the premiere of the movie, which
Oof.
the relationship was then later mended to when the Hobbit was being made, because Christopher Lee obviously did make a return in the Hobbit, so the relationship was mended to some point, because I think Jackson did apologize, being like, that is an important scene, should have been in the movie, and all the stuff. And a lot of people were also like, yo, what the hell? That kind of seems to be an important scene since it was only in the extended edition, not the theatrical cut.
Mm.
Now, in the extended edition, the scene that we're talking about in question, when Saruman is stabbed, Jackson tried telling Lee that he wanted him to be like over the top, being like, oh, some weird things. Straight up asked the man, do you know what kind of sound someone makes when they're stabbed in the back? That went on to talk about a clandestine mission he did in World War II, as Lee was part of the British Special Forces executive branch of the SAS. Jackson didn't push it any further because he kind of realized he knew what he was talking about.
Man. Yeah, I realized that, the sixth one, you'd never see Saruman die unless you watch the extended version. And yeah, it's kind of a big, not a plot hole, but it's kind of like, the fuck?
Yeah, he's kind of just set to be like a throwaway line of, oh, he's locked in his tower. Okay,
Yeah.
moving on. And it's like,
He's been Rapunzeled.
yeah, like kind of should have an ending there.
Mhm.
But probably could have cut some footage here and there. I'm sure they could have found something.
Oh yeah. They probably could have cut the whole "I am no man" scene because that was hard to get through.
Funny you say that, because a lot of people like that.
I know. It's just that line is so cringy to me. I don't mind the character at all, and I love her. I think her arc is very well. She's a very good, strong female. But like that line just really, I was like, ooh.
Are you saying you just don't like strong females in the workplace?
That is exactly what I am saying.
Wow.
Yes.
You need to quit your job then.
Damn.
Saying I'm a strong woman.
Yes.
Hey. Thanks.
Now,
Right.
when Frodo is being tangled in the web by Shelob?
Shelob.
Shelob?
Sure. Shlob. Shlob.
I believe it's Shelob. It's usually pronounced that way in the games.
Shelob.
And I think actually Smeagol may have referenced her in Two Towers, but I'm not sure.
I think the orcs did too.
Shelob. All right, we'll call her Shelob. So when he's tangled into Shelob's web and Sam's arm comes into frame, say, put him down. It's actually not Sam. It's Peter Jackson's arm. And the reason I include this fact is just because of how wild this man is. So Jackson was watching the scene from another set about a half a mile away, because he had screens attached to the cameras of the second unit. So he had a bunch of screens watching all what the 7-second units were doing.
Jeez.
So he could see what they were doing while also directing the scene that he was doing, which was the main one.
No slacking on his set, that's for sure.
Yeah, that man can multitask too.
Don't even think about pulling out your phone.
He will know. He sees all.
Mhm. Yeah, he sees all. Like the Eye of Sauron.
Peter Jackson is God. He sees all. So when he was like looking at the screens and he just noticed they kept on doing that shot and it just didn't look right. So he told them, "Stop what you're doing. I'm coming over." So he hopped on a bike, rode the half a mile over to the other set, got on it, put on Sam's outfit, and said, "Roll camera." Put his arm in, said cut, and he said, "That's it. We got it." And he walked out.
Wow. Now I have to rewatch that
Nice.
scene.
It was wild. Now Shelobs, whatever. I can't.
Schlobe. That's my favorite.
Sorry. I'm calling her
Long.
Shlobe now. Sorry.
Mhm.
Shlobe's head sculpture was scanned by a Canadian company for 10 times more detail than the Weta workshop had previously been able to capture.
Huh.
So that's a lot of scans and a lot of resolution.
That is.
Now, when wrapped in the spider's cocoon, Elijah said it was like being in the world's largest condom, ribbed for her pleasure.
Oh, Elijah.
Oh my God.
Elijah Wood, am I right? Ah.
For the pyre scene, which
Higher?
yeah, so when Faramir is like they think he's dead and they're gonna burn him alive, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's called a pyre.
Oh,
The
okay.
like wooden thing they put him on, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, they couldn't set the actual thing on fire because there's Gandalf's horses next to it, and the horse obviously can't go near fire without losing its mind. So
Mhm.
what they did is they lit a similar looking fire nearby, and then reflected that on a giant piece of glass, and then moved the camera so that the glass was over the actual pyre. So the shot you see in the movie is actually just the pyre with a piece of glass in front of the camera at an angle that's reflecting the fire that happens to be to the left of the camera, so that it looks like the pyre is on fire.
They're fucking geniuses with this forced perspective shit. I gotta give it to them.
It
Man.
is. I don't know who. The I think like the cinematographer thought of that. He's like, "Well, I can't let this thing on fire, so what am I going to do?" So he's like, "I got it. Get me some glass."
Jeez. The glass that was in the fucking cocktail from earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
So when riding to the Black Gate, they filmed in the only desert-like area in New Zealand, which is where the New Zealand Army does live fire training. So
Oh,
as they were
no.
doing the battle scenes, it was very normal to come across unexploded bombs.
Jesus.
So they would have to stop the filming for a second. They would have to back away. The New Zealand military would have to come in and then disarm the bomb if it didn't explode or if it was a dud, and then take it away, and then they can resume filming.
That's terrifying.
And so I think there was a thing about Sean Bean, not Sean Bean. It was I think like Orlando Bloom or something was asking Viggo Mortensen, being like, so because they were like in a taped in area, and they're like, so does it mean that if I go beyond that tape that I'm gonna like die because there's exploded ordinances over there and we're like safe over here? And he goes, no, it just means that there's less bombs in this area than there is over there.
That's
Nice.
pretty good.
The scene filmed in Cirith Ungol, I believe is what it's pronounced.
Sirathungu.
I think it was Kirith, Uncle.
Cirith Ungol?
No, Kirith.
Kirith? Kirith
Mhm.
Ungol. Kirith Ungol. So the stairs is actually filmed in a squash court in a hotel.
What the hell's a squash court?
It's the game squash.
I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of squash?
I've heard of pickleball.
What the hell is that?
Another
It's very similar.
food sport, apparently. It's very similar to tennis and ping pong kind of combined.
Squash is a racket sport played by two players where they bounce a ball off. They bounce a ball.
They
off
bounce
the
a
ball.
wall off a ball.
So it's
Oh.
like it's tennis,
Okay.
except it's ricocheting the ball off a wall where both players are on the same side.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I didn't know that was called squash.
Smash.
Squash.
So yeah, so they were doing it on they filmed it on a squash court. This is because when they were filming the first movie in Queenstown, New Zealand, they had historic flooding and a storm that wouldn't let up. So it kind of ruined their original schedule of filming exteriors for the first film. So they decided, well, let's start working on the other ones. They started working on the other films by filming Sean Austin's half of that scene, and then about a year later, when they were actually supposed to start that filming part of the schedule for the third movie, they started filming Elijah's half.
Huh.
So yeah, so that scene when they're going back and forth, one is filmed a year before the other one.
That's very trippy. I don't like to think about that because it's making me confused.
All right, now we have some just random facts about some of the things that are going on here. Overlooking the River Thames in England is a bar
Mhm.
named The Grapes. It has been around for nearly 400 years, and it is owned by Sir Ian McKellen and has Gandalf's staff attached to the wall behind the bar.
Where is this?
It is called The Grapes in England. I don't know like the street address, but it's overlooking the River Thames.
Okay, so I'll buy 3 tickets tonight and we could get there by Thursday.
Yes,
In
illegally
theory.
because I don't have my passport.
Neither do I.
I have an expired one.
Hell yeah, legal.
Now, 8 out of the 9 actors who played the members of the Fellowship got a tattoo of the word 9 written in J.R.R. Tolkien's Elvish script, Tangwar.
Mhm.
To commemorate their time working on the Lord of the Rings trilogy together, they all headed down to the tattoo parlor in Wellington, New Zealand, where the movie was happened to be shooting to get the tattoos done. John Rhys Davies was the one who refused to get a tattoo, and his stunt double stepped in to complete the 9.
Beautiful. Which one's that?
Gimli.
Oh, Gimli. I didn't know his actor's name.
Sean Astin and Billy Boyd got their tattoos on their ankles in honor of the many hours they spent having to wear Hobbit feet.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's smart.
I dig that.
Dominic Monaghan and Billy Boyd stated that Merry and Pippin in the appendices of Lord of the Rings are buried next to Aragorn.
Oh, yes.
So they have been bugging Viggo Mortensen for years, asking him if they can be buried next to him.
Believe I saw this video.
Yes.
That's great.
And they have yet to convince him, unfortunately. Now, time for the final fact, the game changer, the one I hope you know.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Get ready. Lewis, we are
Lee.
going to have the most dramatic reaction, okay? No matter what.
No.
Hype. Christopher Lee, he used to sing metal music in his spare time and has a YouTube channel with all of his music on it.
What?
Loud.
I did not know that.
I actually did know that.
Damn it.
No, I mean, I didn't know that was going to be the fact, but I know about that.
And it'll be in our show notes if you would like to see it, but you can also look up Charlemagne Productions.
Charles Mag?
Charles Magnan, but it's Charlemagne on YouTube, and it has Christopher Lee singing all of his greatest hits.
What the fuck? A heavy metal Christmas?
Yes, and he has
On
a bunch
his
of music himself.
91st birthday.
What a legend.
Rest in peace to Christopher Lee.
Mm-hmm.
No one can do it like
How does he only have 19.6K subscribers?
I mean, maybe after people listen to our episode, he'll have, 20,000 more.
19.63. Yeah, that's crazy.
But yes, it'll be in our show notes if you guys would like to see. But you can also look up Charlemagne Productions on YouTube, and you will definitely see Christopher Lee singing metal.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'm going to listen after this recording.
And those are all my facts for today.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Beautiful. Very good.
Thank you.
Now, let us dive into the franchise breakdown tier list that we have to do afterwards. But first, let's do our breakdown. Who would like to go first?
Me.
Excellent. Lewis, what did you think?
Nothing beats episode
I
one.
thought you were just going to go, nothing.
Nothing beats episode 1, Phantom Menace, which was the first episode of our podcast. But anyway, this was a very fitting ending to a beautiful trilogy. Peter Jackson, as we've already, kind of extolled all his creativity and success in just this film trilogy. Really, Peter Jackson, you're a legend. And
Yes.
I very much appreciate what you did with each of these films independently of the others. And yeah, I would say that among my memories of like watching the Lord of the Rings movies from when I was younger to now, Return of the King, both for the movie, the video game, and other like, lore and fan related sort of things, is among one of my favorite pieces, I would say. I think your question has actually made me kind of rethink something about the entire movie. Just different perspective as to like, this whole journey to here to then Tolkien's life reference, the emotional connection. I only learned about Tolkien's military experience very recently, actually on a different podcast.
Oh, that he was in World War One or two?
Yes.
Is it 1 or 2?
I think it was 1 or 2. No, it was probably 1. It was 1. I said 2 earlier. I'm going to correct myself. It was actually World War 1. I mean, I like the scene that you were referring to earlier. I am no man. I do like that scene. I also understand at the same time why it's hard for some people, like why it seems so cringy. I really think that Samwise Gamgee should have been the main character instead of Frodo, as he carried this whole series on his back. I'm saying this like jokingly, of course. Fight scenes, the dead army, excellently done. And I want to say this also from like having played that scene of where you meet the dead army in Return of the King, and then rewatching it for the second time when I was younger on TV, and I was like, wow, this is like a really cool bridge between the two. I want to do it justice, but also still be like open to potential criticisms. Actually, I'm just going to carry it with the other drinks. It's going to be a 4.5.
Okay. There you go.
Thanks.
Man, finally got it out of him. Jesus Christ.
4.5.
I think I have to agree with Lewis that I think this was a great way to kind of sum up the trilogy. It is a pretty solid movie all the way through, even though that one line does kind of give me the ick, as the Gen Zs say. No, I think it is a solid movie. I do think Helm's Deep's battle is just better to me.
Yeah.
I just feel like this one's kind of like, I got so much with Helm's Deep, and then this second one I was almost like not desensitized, but I was just like, all right, it's just another battle. Even though they had Oliphants and stuff, it's still like just doesn't hit as hard as Helm's Deep does,
Right.
I do think that, Sam is the GOAT. His story arc throughout the whole trilogy, honestly, is just so strong. And like he has perhaps one of the best character developments in any movie because it's so subtle. It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm Sam and I'm super brave now. It's more of like a progression. It's not just like a sudden switch. And I really like that. I also love the Witch King. His character is amazing. I actually have a Funko Pop. I'm looking right at it right now of him. He's fucking badass, even though he dies very sadly. I just want to take a minute to remind you guys of the editing during this particular scene where Faramir is about to be burnt to death. And it's cutting between that, Pippin singing, and then the Lord of Gondor, forget his name, just like
Denethor.
eating the food and stuff. And like the editing and the sound, like the music and the sound editing for those three, it's just such a compelling. It's what's the word I'm looking for here? The parallels are very paralleling.
Oh my god!
This is what I get for trying to sound like a film student.
The juxtaposition, is compelling. It's very good. It's good scene. I liked it a lot. I think they did that. Like out of everything, that felt almost not out of place, but it just felt so like symbolic in so many ways. Where it's just like this guy really just does not give a shit about his kid. And then like the song that Pippin's singing, it so good. Anyways, I do think that the scene with Legolas taking down the Oliphant, that is an iconic scene as well, where he slides down the fucking trunk and shit. I do enjoy the trials and troubles and tribulations of both Sam and Frodo throughout the whole film. And it really shows like the struggle of the two characters getting up to Mount Doom. And it actually makes you like, it's really hard. I feel like nowadays too, with films that I feel like it's a lot harder, or that they tend to fail in showing the struggle for a character sometimes. And sometimes it's just like, oh, characters here wasn't that big of an issue for them. But like in this film, they executed it so well where it's like, oh my God, where they're like crawling up the mountain. And it's just like, definitely felt how tired they were.
oh yeah. And there's just like hot coals steaming around them and their lips are all chapped. I was like, oh, that looks awful. And I just feel like it's refreshing to see that. I mean, even though this is an older film, it's nice to see the care put into those kind of scenes. Now, the non-extended version is 3.5 hours long, which is already very long, but the extended version is 4.5. And I'm ashamed to say, but I did not watch the extended version. I watched the extended version for the first two, but I could not watch 4.5 hours.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it, especially because I watched it. Yeah, especially because I watched it 2 days ago and it was like 8 o'clock already. I was like, no way, I'm watching 4.5 hour movie. I know I just hyped up the scene where Faramir is about to be burnt to death, but at the same time, that whole side plot felt very out of place.
It did.
Where it was like, oh my God, there's this huge war going on outside, but some of these soldiers are taking their time to go burn this guy, even though Pippin's like, he's alive, but they're like just completely ignoring him. That just felt kind of out of place where I was just like, what? It was just very like you'd be jumping straight from this amazing epic battle. And then it was just like complete opposite. I didn't like that. It just felt, out of place.
The juxtaposition was not compelling.
The juxtaposition. Yeah. So I think overall, like a 4.5 out of 5 for me. It's definitely, I think it's a solid trilogy through and through. I'm glad we're done watching them because it really ate up a lot of my time.
It's a lot.
Wait to watch like an hour and 45 minute again.
I'm going to choose the longest movie possible. We're doing Avatar next. No, I was kidding.
Jesus. What did you think, Isaiah?
I think the movie started off strong with a parasite that was kind of wild. If you don't know what parasite means, it means the killing of a relative.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Arwen so dramatic? Like she is so dramatic at everything she does. She's reading a book. Oh no! She drops the book. Oh my God, it's on the floor.
Why do you think I can't stand her?
Oh my God, it is so dramatic.
Gasping. She's always gasping.
Oh my God, Aragorn. Oh, like it's so out of. I don't know. It's just Sam.
Yeah.
And now also is for this one. Sam is the realest bro anyone could ask for.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If I can't carry the ring, but I can carry you. That was the worst impression.
But best moment.
Oh yeah.
There's a few moments where it's like, damn, that was kind of dark. They cut off the people's heads and they threw them at the army. Like, damn, okay.
It's like raining heads.
That was dark. All right.
Yeah.
Talk about intimidation tactics.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, the whole dad burning the Faramir thing just felt like a side quest. Like, why are we watching this? Like, you got this huge battle going on, and then now we're witnessing this.
And like, and my favorite part was like, you couldn't hear the war going on outside during those scenes. No. It was just complete silence. We're like, what the fuck? Are we even in the same location?
Yeah, and then they connect that by having the dad run like half a mile because
on fire.
Like that thing was really long. It wasn't no short ditness. No, we call that. That was a long platform.
Short ditness.
Yeah, ditness. A distance. All right, and you're telling me he ran all of that just to jump off the cliff into the battle, which is happening below.
Queen.
Yeah, that was also like over the top.
He's going to see Arwen.
Because that whole part there, right, was technically interrupted. Like Gandalf is in the battle. He is fighting the war. And I know.
Pippin's like, hey, this guy's going to go die. And he's like, oh, let me go. Let me sacrifice 50,000 soldiers or whatever, 500 soldiers for this one dude who didn't even like us at first.
They could have just not done that. They could have cut that whole arc out.
Yeah.
Which was also, by the way, a combo character. He was like, that guy was like, the dad was like 3 different characters put into one. Since I watched the theatrical version, I was kind of pissed off that they didn't include the Saruman death because that is a very important character. Yeah, he was the villain for the first 2 movies, and then they kind of just throw him away as being like, oh, he's locking his tower down. All right, that villain's done, and they just move on. So that put a little damper on the mood. So that definitely should have been addressed, and especially the theatrical cut. They should have they could have added the whole dad stuff for the extended edition and then kept the Sauron part in the theatrical cut, I feel like that was the better decision, but they didn't do that. And so that kind of brought my rating down a bit. So the ending, right? There was 3 ending monologues. They did not need 3 ending monologues. And I can only imagine how many are in the extended edition because that was a lot. Because you had Sam's ending monologue, you had Frodo's ending monologue, and you had actually I think Sam gets 2 ending monologues because there's him talking about them going back to the Shire. There's another one of him talking where they like fade to black, and then it starts up again of him talking about the Shire, and then it goes to the scene where Frodo is getting on the ship and he leaves. So there's a 3rd ending monologue.
That's true.
Yeah, so the ending just felt like it just was getting dragged out for way too long, especially since it felt like it ended 3 times. So I gave it, unfortunately, a 3.5 out of 5. And I know I'm going to get some hate.
Your letterbox said 4.
I feel like had they made some decisions, bringing back the Saruman part, because I've seen the Saruman part, like I saw that part on its own. Had they kept that in the theatrical version, gotten rid of the dad part, it would be a 4 out of 5 for me because it would have contained all its arcs, it would have finished everything it needed, and it would have been a satisfying ending for everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if I watched the extended editions, I feel like it'd be a 4 out of 5. But I didn't watch the extended editions. I watched the theatrical version with some of the extended bits, which is like that hybrid thing that I was talking to Danny Boyd about. Of that, if there's like a hybrid version of the theatrical and extended, then I feel like it'd be perfect movies.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a 3.5. So a 3.5 for the theatrical, and the extended probably would get a 4 out of 5.
Okay. I can get behind that then. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, Lewis is alive.
Yes, I am alive.
All right, so what do we rate the movies? Including The Hobbit, yeah?
Yes, including The Hobbit.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
So
okay, so those are all D tier.
We all know where those are going. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We have The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the tier list theme song now.
Okay. And then we got the Battle of the 5 Armies, where there actually is no 5 armies. It's either 4 or 6, so they're all wrong. We have Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. We have Two Towers.
All right, so let's start with The Hobbit 1, An Unexpected Journey.
D.
Yeah, I was going to say D. Straight D. I heard it after I said
it. Is that a curved one?
Oh, yikes. Oh, Jesus. All right, Desolation of Smaug. I'd say like a C. Better than first one, right? Because that has all the smog scenes, and that's like the best part of it.
Yes.
I would agree.
So C tier. Easy.
And the Battle of the 5 Armies?
E. Put it at the bottom. Fucking trash.
Wow, guy.
You don't even get a say at this point. Fellowship of the Ring. I want to put it at A just because I feel like it's classic. Like when I think of Lord of the Rings, I think of the Fellowship of the Ring. What do you guys think?
I agree. I think the first one's the best one.
A tier.
A tier.
Yeah, I would agree.
Top tier. Easy A tier.
Easy A tier.
Two Towers. Honestly, I feel like we could put both the second and third one at B. Are we thinking extended or theatrical?
We're thinking hybrid.
We're thinking hybrid.
So they're all at A except for the Hobbits.
Yeah, no, that's technically what hybrid means. I think, and just roll with me with it. I think the Two Towers would be A, and then the Return of the King would be B.
I think you could make a case for that, but I think you could also make a case for them to both be B.
Fuck it, we ball. Make it A.
Fuck it, we ball.
So like this?
Think so. All right, so we have our tier list finalized. We have starting at the top for the top 2 best at A tier is the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers, tied for first. In second place at the B tier, we have the Return of the King. In the C tier, in third place, we have Desolation of Smaug. In D tier, fourth place, we have An Unexpected Journey. And E tier, in last place, no surprise, Battle of the 5 Armies. That's our official tier list.
Actually, we're going to change E to L because, you know.
Let us know if you guys agree. I in the comments, feel like everyone might agree with us. Someone might have something to say about Two Towers being at A or something. That's about all I I
I'm
think.
looking for the person who's going to shout out and say that The Hobbit was actually better than the original trilogy.
I'll find them and have a talk with them.
Yes.
And by that, she means a beatdown.
Yeah. Now, thank you everyone for joining us for season 9. We have our listeners episode next week featuring the Dream a Fantastic Dream podcast, which we were on their show a couple weeks ago, or Lewis was on their show, which we are super excited about. We're having a Disney themed listeners episode, so we'll be reviewing all things Disney. That includes Marvel and Star Wars. Now, our poll for season 10, that's crazy to say, season 10 is officially up and live on our Instagram. So go cast your votes now. The choices for season 10 are the Karate Kid franchise or Marvel Phase 1. And speaking of our Instagram, be sure to follow us and please share us with your friends and family. If you're on Spotify, also please follow us on Spotify because the more followers we get, the more money we make. It's as simple as that. I'll be straight up. Before we sign off, as most of you have already heard, since I've said it about 20 times already, today is Lewis's last day on the podcast. He'll continue to work behind the scenes so we can keep Big Lou's Big Brews going. We might butcher it, but we'll see. Just wanted to say thank you, Lewis, for being a part of this show, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. Of course, we hope to see you back here someday soon, in the foreseeable future, as you would say.
Yeah, my favorite phrase. I know I've probably already said this on the other episode, and I'm sure I mentioned something about it in a video we'll be sharing shortly. But it's really been a very fun time to do this with you guys for the past year. And I really hope that even if I can't, return to my original like full-time commitment to it, I still enjoy being part of it, even from behind the scenes. And I hope to see us obviously continue to grow and do some really cool things with this podcast. And I'm grateful that you came up with this idea and suggested it in the first place, Beth.
Thanks. Glad you guys were both on board. At least I think you guys were. I might have just forced you. I don't know.
No, we were on board.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in next week's listeners episode. And farewell, Louise. Big Lou.
Big
Louis.
Lou. Big Lou, big goodbye.
Oh, no. Bye.